G'day and welcome to episode 23. In the last episode we camped our way around Nusa Penida exploring some of the amazing beaches. In this episode we're heading back to Bali and heading north to explore sunken ships and waterfalls with our new visitor. So we've come up to the mountains in Bali to take some photos for an article which we'll talk about in a future episode. We got here a bit later than expected and went for a nice full drive track through the forest to try and find this grassed area, but when we got there it was completely underwater. We kind of underestimated the fact that while we've been experiencing some sunny weather on the coast, the mountains have still been getting smashed by the wet season, as you can see by the car behind me. It now pretty dirty, so thankfully we didn't clean it yesterday, but we ended up coming to this car park next to the lake. The dogs got in the rubbish last night. Now they're all knackered out. But yeah, it's a pretty nice area. Hello! I don't know what they're fishing for here, but last night there was heaps of fishermen trying to catch something. And it is fresh. I could comfortably put a jumper and long pants on. Not what you expect when you think of Bali.
This is Biome Lake and is one of 3 lakes in the area which are within the same huge caldera. This lake actually used to be connected to one of the other 2 up until about 1800 when a landslide separated them. There's some temples to visit here as well as getting a break from the coastal heat and just taking in the beautiful mountain scenery.
Today we're in Ahmed. We made a quick trip down to Kuta yesterday to pick up a visitor.
Morning.
That's my brother Mitch. You may remember him from previous episodes in Australia, such as Uluru to Alice. This is where we are. And just down there is a big dive wreck, which we're going to go free dive today. We went for a dive down here yesterday afternoon, and the fish life was unbelievable. Saw some big metre-long bumphead parrotfish. So hopefully we got to see something like that this morning. And we're under the watchful eye of Agung, which, given the recent activity, we're actually keeping a watchful eye on.
The US Liberty wreck is a 125-metre long World War II cargo ship which was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine in 1942. The captain beached the ship at Tulumban where it remained until 1963 when an eruption from Mount Agung caused the wreck to be displaced into deeper water where it now rests as a diver's paradise. So the dive today on the US Liberty Shipwreck was absolutely amazing. The coral was so healthy and there was just thousands of fish everywhere just swimming in front of your face all the time, so that was a pretty cool experience. We have decided to move camp spots from where we were last night because the wreck is on the complete other end of the beach to where we were. So this is a new camp spot. Mitch is over there chilling out. Down on the beach here, like maybe 20-25 meters off the shore is the wreck, so it's super easy access as well. There was a fair few divers when we're out there today, so we're thinking that we might get up early tomorrow morning and jump in the water to beat the crowds and hopefully get some good footage. What do you think of the wreck?
Yeah, pretty special spot out there.
Yeah.
Hey.
Not too bad.
The diving was actually that special in the day that Mitch and I decided to see what it was like at night. To our surprise, the bumphead parrotfish we had seen previously had moved in from the deep and taken over the wreck. They were everywhere. These fish, which are the largest of the parrotfish family, can grow up to 1.3 metres and weigh approximately 45 kilos. Some of these were easily that big. Luckily for this guy, he was living in a marine protection zone, otherwise he would have been our dinner.
Last night we met a guy in Tulumban who has offered to take us out on his small fishing boat just a little bit to the west, probably about 22 or so kilometres. Unfortunately there's not enough room for me on the boat because it is quite small, but he has about 200 or so metres off the shore. He's got like a little fishing platform, so the guys have just got all of their gear ready and they're going to go out and hopefully catch us a fish for dinner. See ya. Good luck. Bring me back a fish.
If our translation was correct, these fishing boats and platform are leased from the government per month for a small fee. The platform itself is anchored in about 100 metres of beautiful clear blue water. We dived in the setting sun for about an hour, and although caught nothing really substantial, we managed to get enough fish to feed ourselves, our captain and his friends. This little remora had been hanging on for a free ride. They are known to attach themselves to larger animals such as sharks and sometimes even divers by a modified dorsal fin suction plate and feed off the larger animal's scraps and waste. Not really that good eating though, so we let him on his way. We cooked the fish on the beach on a makeshift barbecue our new friend set up using coconuts and palm leaves.
We've come into central Bali to do a bit of a waterfall tour of the island, and this is the first one that we've come to, which is called Pengempu. It is a nice waterfall, but we're going to keep searching and hopefully find one which we'll go swimming at.
Mitch went swimming.
Oh yeah, Mitch went swimming, but we didn't. Yesterday after we finished at Nung Waterfall, it was getting pretty late, so we decided just to camp here. And the lady who owns this little food shop behind me, she offered to cook us some dinner and then really nicely invited us to come around to her family home where they're preparing to celebrate her grandson's 3rd birthday today. The celebrations started at 6 a.m. this morning and they have a ceremony and then a big celebration this afternoon. Yesterday all the men prepared all the food and then the women will cook it all today. So she's invited us back around this morning to enjoy some of the food which they've made. And then after we do that, we're going to head north to hopefully find some more waterfalls. Unfortunately, the party started later than planned, so we decided to keep heading north. The last on the list for our waterfall tour and almost back to where we started is Vanamali Waterfall. There's actually about 5 other smaller falls in the area to explore, which are easy to find if you venture just a short distance downstream. That's it for this episode and thanks for watching. In the next one, we'll experience a little bit of unexpected downtime and say goodbye to Mitch before heading west to Java. If you liked the episode, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you get notified when the next episode is up. Thanks guys, see ya!